let's get some mending done. Okay, so I have here my mending basket. As you can see, it's quite full. It's not all mending. A couple of things that are adjustments for things that I have bought. So first up we have a skirt here. This is a maxi skirt from the Fat Face sale. I ordered the size that their size guide told me would fit me. It's at least 4 inches too big and they didn't have the size down. So we're going to take that in. Then we have also from the Fat Face sale this dress. It's like a shirt dress. And one of the belt loops is not attached at one end. It hasn't been caught into the seam. So that's a really minor thing. Should be able to fix that or make a new belt loop. So we'll get that done. They're both summer garments. So I want to get those adjusted so that I can start wearing them now that the weather is trying to warm up. Next up, we move on to actual proper mending stuff. So we're going to start with this bear that I believe my brother got me, and he's coming apart at the seams there. So we're going to fix him, and that'll be the same way as you would fix a cushion seam that comes undone. And if you're wondering why a woman in her mid-40s needs a teddy bear, come on now. So I'll pop him to one side and get him fixed. And the next thing that I definitely want to try and get fixed today is this t-shirt. It's a hand knit t-shirt. It's a cotton wool blend, so it's good for the summer, for the spring and summer in the UK. But it needs a little bit of love on the hemline as some of the yarn is snapped. So it's got a little stitch marker holding it in place. The rest of the things that I've got in this basket are, you know, socks and shawls and sweaters and that sort of thing. So we'll see if we get to those and how far through we get. But I will be working my way through it over the next few months if it's not done today. Some of the stuff has been sat in there for quite a while, but as the weather is warming up, not as urgent as the summer wear stuff. So let's get cracking and see what I can do to fix these items, and then we'll see how far we get through the basket. Okay, so this is the skirt. So it's elasticated at the back, and the hemline is out of shot there. But if I just move this little sash out of the way, you can see, this is not even me pulling it very hard, you can see how much extra room there is in there. So it's not feeling massively secure around my waist. So about 4 inches I need to take in. So if I just undo this sash, the back is elasticated, the front is not. So I could undo the side seams and faff around and fix it that way. So I see I'm not putting the elastic at all there, and we've got all this space. What I'm going to do, rather than taking apart the seams and having to deal with elastic, is I'm just going to put a couple of pleats in, just in front of where the sash meets on either side. So there we can see it sitting much more smoothly across the front. The pleats will mean that I can let it out again, should my size change, but they'll also be hidden underneath the sash. So I'm just going to pin these in place, and then I'm just going to put a few hand stitches in so that they're secured. It's probably just under 2 inches that's coming out on either side. Okay, so that's already feeling much more secure, and then when the sash is tied, that will be hidden underneath the sash. So I'm going to go and get that stitching done, and then I'll show you how it fits afterwards. Okay, so that's the pleats sewn in. And if I'll just come show you those a little bit closer. So I've done one just there and one just there. So I mean, they would be visible if that was the finished waistband, but because of this like sash detail across the front, I just tie that up. The pleats are hidden underneath that detail. And now I have a skirt that I can move around in and not feel like it's going to fall down, which is always a plus. Okay, so that's the first fix adjustment made. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the skirt is done. Let's take a look at the dress. This is a lovely dress. It's kind of knee length on me, a little bit longer at the back than it is at the front. And it's a shirt dress, sleeveless, buttoned down all the way down the front so it can be worn open as an overshirt. So it's going to be nice and handy and versatile. It's also in a lovely, lightweight, breathable fabric. It feels kind of cotton linen-y, but I believe it's viscose. So yeah, on this one we have this belt loop situation. If I find the one that's actually intact. So yeah, it's just a little thread loop down the side, and on this side it's simply not attached into the seam, or rather it's come unattached from the seam. So I think I can see where it used to go there. I think it was going through the fabric and it's been pulled out. So yeah, it goes through the fabric on this side. So what I'm going to be doing is pulling it through to the back and seeing if I can fasten it in place on this side. So it is just knotted on the inside of the fabric. So it's quite a sizable knot on there. Don't think I've got a needle with a big enough eye to pull that through. I obviously don't want to make a massive hole in the fabric. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle that I was using for the last project with a little bit of thread that's left on it. I'm going to tie a knot in that because I did sew the last fix with the thread doubled over. So if I put a nice knot in here, not the two strands together, that is then going to give me a loop. So I'm thinking if I put the loop through the hole where the thread loop from the dress previously was, and then put the thread loop through here, I might be able to put it through to the back that way. So let's have a try. Okay, so that's my needle through. So let's open up my loop. Okay, see if I can pop that through to the back. There we go. So now if I take the loop off, oh no, it's popped back out again. Was going to say we had a functioning loop. Okay, so I'm going to need to stitch that down on the inside. At least the principle works. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get it back through to the back and stitch it down to secure the knot. So I'll put some stitches through the knot itself to the fabric, I think. And I'll come back to you when that is done, because you don't need to see me struggling to get a knot through fabric again. Okay, so I've put a few stitches through the knot on the inside of the fabric and fastened it off. And now we have a functioning belt loop. So if I find the belt, there we go, we can pop the belt through the belt loop, and now the dress is as it was intended to be. So that is another adjustment fix made, and another summer outfit ready to wear. See, these are so new to me that I haven't even taken the tags off. They might have been from last year's summer stuff, given that they were in the sale already, and summer's not hit yet. Okay, so that's those. What should we do next? Do I have the yarn for... Okay, I'm going to need to leave the t-shirt because I don't have the right yarn to fix that at the moment. But let's fix the teddy bear. He's rather cute. He's a little dusty. because he's been sat on the shelf and he's a little faded in places because he's been sat catching the sun. But he is still rather sweet. So I'm going to mend this. It is literally the seam has just come undone. So I'm thinking mattress stitch, ladder stitch would be the fix for this. So the same as if you would have seam come undone in a cushion on your sofa, or wanted to fix a pillow for the bed or something like that. You want a stitch that's going to disappear. I'm going to use this cream thread because it's going to be fairly inobtrusive. And the idea of the ladder stitch or the mattress stitch is that you are stitching from one side to the other, sort of in parallel lines, and then it just zips up when you pull the end. So when I've done it on knitwear, which is probably easier to see on knitwear to be fair, so I will link up here. I'm pretty sure I've done a video using mattress stitch to seam a sweater, so I will put it, if I can find it, I'll put a link up there so you can see it in a little bit more detail, because this is going to be thin thread, it's going to be difficult to see. So I'm just going to get him stitched up and then we'll take a look at him when he's done. Okay, so there we go, one bear fully fixed. So you can't see his stuffing anymore. Excuse me showing you his personals. But yeah, he's fixed. He's ready to go back to sit on the bed or on the shelf or something. Might have to have a look and see if I can work out any way to bring back some of the colour to his fur, but I imagine he's polyester. So he may just be slightly faded from now on. You can see the colour he used to be on the back, so he's not drastically faded. Okay, so now moving on to what will probably be my last mend for today. So this is the t-shirt that I knitted up last summer. It's based on Creo Bayer's Tolster tee pattern, but I had to mess around with the numbers. Probably should have switched to a smaller needle for the ribbing on the cuffs because they flip up a bit. But this gets a lot of wear pretty much all year round, being a wool cotton blend. And I've just got a stitch marker in the hem here where the yarn has broken at some point. So I'm just going to go in and fix that. I've got scraps from when I made it to use, so we'll get on with that. And hopefully that won't take too long. I'm going to shuffle the camera around a bit so you've got a better angle of me stitching, because I'm not holding it up here. Okay, so I've secured my yarn to the back of the hem. This is the damage that I'm working with. So some of the stitches have run. I am not necessarily going to be working on weaving it so that the stitches look like stitches. But we'll see how we get on. Some of them I can pick them back up as if they were stitches. So yeah, so okay, we'll work some of the dropped stitches back through, just using my darning needle as if it was a crochet hook. And I'm just going to stitch through the top end. So you can see I've picked up one row of knit stitches there. The next row is pearls. So let's go around to the back and do the same. Now I'm using a bent needle bent darning needle or wool needle, whatever you call it, in wherever you are, to do this, which means that I can use it a little bit like a crochet hook. So I'm just looking for the next stitch, which is here. Let's make sure we can see what order all the yarn is lying in. So I'm just going to use the tip of my needle to hook the strand of yarn through exactly as I would if I was picking up stitches with a crochet hook. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do this. I wasn't sure there would be enough stitch left to be able to do this. Seems to be working fine, and then I'm just pulling my needle through that top stitch, and I will do some stitching across to secure at the end. Okay, so it seems to be only the 2 columns that have dropped down, so I'm just going to stitch into the remaining hemline. So it does look like ribbing serge. It's a bit tatty at the end here, where obviously the cast off stitches are not there. So I'm just going to secure a few stitches at this end and then work my way back and see if I can get it a little bit neater. Now, I'm not too worried if it doesn't look exactly like a cast off edge. I just don't want it to look like it's been chewed on. Okay, so there we go. It's not perfectly neat and consistent with the rest of the stitches, but it's good enough. It is the hem of the t-shirt after all. It's going to be around my hips and nobody should be looking that closely at it. So I'm just going to work away this end of the yarn. I'll weave it in a little bit further so that I can secure it. So there we go, we have a third garment mended, good to wear for the rest of the season. So thank you so much for spending time with me today. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. In the meantime, there is this one here that may be of interest to you, and I will see you soon. But until then, happy crafting and bye-bye for now.